It's a Teen Talks Kitten podcast where I embarrass myself. Hello, and welcome to episode number 116 of the Teen Talks Kitten podcast. My name is Van Gogh. I hope you guys are doing very well. Before I forget, I wanted to let you guys know that you can like, share, and follow. Is that a good way to put it? I don't know. I hope you guys are all doing well. This week was definitely a very long week, and I just like, oh my gosh, and I have like a fat headache right now, but I don't know, maybe like a migraine or something. But I just wanted to record, just wanted to talk about figure skating, because what else is better to do on a Friday night after you've just had such a long week? I feel like so many things I did, like just blah. I don't want to be here. I mean, I do want to be here, I just don't want to be at school. I don't want to do homework when I get home, stuff like that. um, I hope you guys are doing very well. Yeah, lots of things happened, and these next 2 weeks are just gonna be even busier for me with school and events and everything. So I'm just super duper stressed and super duper all over the place. But I just want to take the time for myself and for the few people who still listen to this podcast, just to record an episode. Oh, also I made the new intro, outro, program of the week stuff. The only issue is it has the metronome sound on it. I don't know how to fix that. Like again, I'm so terrible at files and everything, and literally like I can't. Literally, so it's bad. The metronome sound is really annoying, but I hope it's not terrible. But anyway, let's head into our program of the week because I feel like this episode is gonna take a little while. So let's head into our program of the week before I get too sidetracked. Okay, let's hear the program of the week music. All right. Program of the week. Okay, everybody, our program of the week this week is a program I watched this week for the first time. I've never watched this program. And I hope this is what I continue to watch in the future because it is a pretty good program. It was just recommended to me on YouTube and I watched it. I was like, dang, this is a pretty good program. This is a French skater, Vanessa Guzmeroli, and her 1997 World Short Program. The music is The Mask, the movie, and I searched up who the composer of the music was for the movie, and it was Randy Edelman, maybe. And I'm very sorry if I said that wrong. I'm not sure if maybe it's a specific section of the music composed by a different composer, but that's what Google said, and the commentators just said it was music of The Mask. So I'm assuming it's the movie The Mask that came out a few years before this program. But anyway, besides those music complications, this program is really fun. It really does give bank heists. It kind of reminds me actually of Steven Gogolev, his short program this Olympic season, which was like a bank runaway, getaway, bank chase, such car chase situation. This program feels like the same way. I feel like it is quite classy, quite jazzy, classy, jazzy, elegant, rich person that goes to a bank and maybe steals something funny. Fun. Starting off this program, the triplet is like wild. Like it's a wild triplet. She lands it well somehow into a double loop. I do like my Let's loop combinations. Yes. Um, Very beautiful steps into a triple loop as well. It has a very nice sturdy landing on it. My favorite part of this program though is this like random choreography, like kind of sequence, spiral sequence, different kinds of spirals. There's this kind of moment where she does like a mini Ina Bauer for like 2 seconds and then she goes into a back spiral, which is really interesting. Couple normal front spirals as well. Really good flexibility, good flow, no struggle getting into these spirals at all. It really is a seamless transition from two blades up to the one blade skating and one blade back. Very beautiful moment as well in this kind of choreo step area. She looks like she's going to a back spiral, but she actually reverses her direction. So it's almost like a camel spin that is a twizzle. Um, Double axel is very beautiful and strong in this program. The very first spin, actually, after the triple Lutz double loop combination, is an interesting spin because she goes from a camel position into a one-handed Bielman, into a layback, into a two-handed Bielman, which is such an interesting use of a combination spin. It was a really unique one, and you usually see camel and sit being put together in combinations, but camel layback was really interesting to see. At least like these specific positions. Very beautiful program. The step sequence when the music is a little more fun, upbeat is fun. They call it a circular step sequence in the commentary, like the ABC commentary, whatever. Very fast, very like two blade skating, but very fast two blade skating, switching directions, spinning this way, spinning that way. She really does look like she's running away. And I will say, I feel like the emotions are kind of fun. In the beginning of the program, she is quite intense and focused. And then at the end of the program, Guzman really is really having her the time of her life running away from something. I don't know. It's really fun, upbeat. I don't know. Really good program. Really enjoyed it. So go check it out. Vanessa Guzmeroli and her 1997 World Short Program To the Mask by Randy Edelman, maybe. Or maybe it's another composer that I don't have the information for because it doesn't list the specifics on Wikipedia. I'm sorry. All right, people, let's head over to our actual episode. Okay, now time to hear the outro of this. That was your program of the week. Okay, everybody, let's hope my throat survives this episode. Let's hope everything goes well in this episode so that I don't die. But this season is over. This season is officially over. Are we all happy? I hope that you are. I hope that I mean, I am happy. I mean, I'm happy and I'm sad, right? But the 2025-2026 Olympic figure skating season is officially over. I can post whatever I want. If you want kind of a recap of the whole season, I recommend you check out last week's episode, which is a kind of highlights of the season kind of episode, stories from the season I called it, where I talked about my favorite skating moments across the season, my favorite skaters, what their trajectories were, their stories across this whole season, how everything unfolded for them, etc. But now it's time to have a little fun. I feel like now it's time to have a little like, let's do what I want to do. Let's do what Van Gogh wants to do, and I can post whatever the heck I want. And so last week at the end of last episode, I promised an episode about the Blade Angels, and here I am with an episode about the Blade Angels. If you do not know, the Blade Angels is kind of the team nickname, not even a team nickname, the nickname for the 2026 Olympic US women's skaters. So those were Amber Glenn, alphabetically Amber Glenn, Isabeau Levito, and of course Alysa Liu, the Olympic champion. And so I really wanted to make this episode. And I also feel like it was kind of an opportune time to make this episode. I believe it was Isabeau Levito recently that posted a picture of a Blade Angels like official, I don't know if it was official or like fan made, but official what was it? Official kind of shirt, maybe official kind of jersey kind of thing for them. So that was pretty cute. And I thought, what a perfect time to make this episode. If you don't know the name Blade Angels, I don't know who actually came up with it out of those three. I remember they were joking around about Blades of Glory, the figure skating movie. I'm assuming it kind of came from inspiration from that somehow. I have no idea though. I really do not have any idea. But let's see. Yeah, I really don't have any idea where it comes from. So who knows, right? Who knows? But anyway, each of these women, Amber Glenn, Isabel Levito, Alyssa Liu, they have each achieved fame and accomplishments in their own right. And I really wanted to discuss in this episode kind of their stories, their trajectories, their styles, and what the future holds to them today. And then also kind of extend that to what the future of US women's figure skating is going to look like. I would like to I would like to proudly brag that I predicted all of this happening back in like 2024. In 2024, around this time, actually, I don't know exactly what episode it was. Let me actually pull that up. But in 2024, I made an episode that was all about how I thought there was going to be this huge renaissance in American women's figure skating. And not gonna lie, I was kind of right. Not gonna lie, I was kind of right. And I am actually very impressed that I was right. And I feel like around that time, people were like, no, like, I don't think Amber's consistent. Isabel's under rotations, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Alyssa's not going to be good on her comeback, stuff like that. But I really predicted this, guys. I actually feel really proud about this one. If you want to go check out my initial thoughts, whatever. Gosh, I have no idea what episode it is. It was probably a pretty early episode in this podcast, like among the first 30 episodes, probably. Let's see. Alright. Oh, yes. Episode number lucky number 13. Episode number 13, published on April 27th of 2024, is called "The Current US Women's Field is Ultra Competitive. Here's Why." Yeah, it was probably one of my first video essays. But anyway, I just wanna brag that I actually predicted all of this happening. This is kind of a similar episode, but instead of focusing on all US women, I'm more focusing on these 3 Blade Angels in particular. Now, we are gonna do this by alphabetical order because I didn't really know how I was gonna do this, but I don't know. Let's start off with Miss Amber Glenn. Amber Glenn is one of my favorites, obviously. I mean, I love all 3 of these skaters, but Amber Glenn, I have been an Amber Glenn fan since 2021. I just love, I don't know what it is about Amber Glenn, but she like really captured me from the start. Amber Glenn is, I feel like, I don't know. Amber Glenn is, I feel like she is considered kind of a late bloomer in the US women's field in the sense that she has always been a really great skater. It wasn't until recently in this last quad, honestly, that she was really prominent and she was like, yes, she is competitive. Let's see. So yeah, but Amber Glenn, she's from Texas. She is proud to be Texan. She is just amazing. And she, in her junior career, she did win the US national junior title back in 2014, believe it or not, in 2014. And I think in that era, it was the era of like Gracie Gold. It was the era of Ashley Wagner. It was the era of Paulina Edmonds. It was the era of Mirai Nagasu. It was the era that continued to have a lot of really big figure skating superstars, especially superstars like Gracie Gold, Ashley Wagner, that, were winning titles, national titles, and world medals in the case of Ashley Wagner. And so I remember her saying that there was a lot of pressure around her being the US junior national champion. Um, because that was truly the culture at the time. It's like, "Oh my gosh, you're the next hope. You are the next hope for, you are the next hope for the US," right? Because, like, just you're young, you're just like Paulina, you're just like Gracie, you're gonna be great, you're gonna be great, you're gonna be so great, don't worry about it. Um, the transition to the senior career was a difficult thing for Amber Glenn and, didn't do so well at um her first few senior competitions, and she unfortunately did struggle with, depression and issues like that. I'm doing part of this from memory and part of this from Wikipedia, so I literally can't remember. And so she did struggle at her early senior events. I would say the big, like, turnaround in her career, the big turnaround in her career was 2021. Because at the 2021 US Nationals, after the pandemic, she had been trying the triple axel, right? And, anyone who tries the triple axel is kind of seen like wildfire, right? I feel like that spreads so quickly. Oh my gosh, so and so's working on a triple axel in the women's field. That's super exciting news. Amber Glenn goes to the 2021 US Nationals. She does not actually like attempt the triple axel there, but she skates very well. She skates very well, so well, in fact, that she wins the silver medal. Oh shoot, she actually tried the triple axel in her show program, never mind. But did not land it successfully. That's what Wikipedia says. I don't remember that, but in the free skate, she was not attempting the triple axel. But it was Rain in Your Black Eyes. It was a performance that made me fall in love with her skating. I just thought she was so fierce, so big on the ice. I feel like it just felt like she was filling up the arena, even though there were literally cardboard figures in the audience. But Amber Glenn, after, a couple of difficult seasons, I mean, it was 2014 that she had won the national junior championship title. Ever since then, she hadn't been on the senior podium. There was a lot of struggles. She was kind of being built up as one of the hopes for the 2018 Olympics, but, was not consistent enough, didn't have the ability to make it on top of all these other struggles that she was going on in her personal life. But the 2021 was a turnaround in Amber Glenn's career, and she didn't get to go to Worlds that year, but it's okay. And so going into the 2021-2022 season, and I feel like a lot of people actually were like, what if Amber is actually like gonna make the Olympics? And it was really difficult, honestly. It was really difficult to watch the 2021-2022 season. She did do super duper well at not US National, sorry, at Skate America. I remember watching her performance at Skate America, her doing so well, skating so proud, such a great skater. Continuing to skate to Rainier Black Ice to the free skate was honestly one of my favorite programs of hers of all time. So fierce, so proud. She does go to the 2022 US Nationals. And I literally remember personally, I went home to go watch this after school, and I finished my homework so fast because I wanted to watch the US Nationals. I was rooting for Amber so hard. I remember the exact moment where she only did a double axel instead of a triple axel, unfortunately. And I believe she fell on the triple loop in that short program, and she was 14th after the short program. And then it turned out that she actually had COVID, and that was probably why she had such a poor performance, unfortunately. And so she didn't make the Olympic team, unfortunately. They didn't send her to four continents. And so I don't know. I was a little like, oh man, like maybe this is it. I don't know. Like maybe this is it. Is Amber gonna retire? I don't know. But I had just discovered her, so I definitely would have been devastated if she retired then, because I'd been like, no way. But yeah, Amber Glenn's a fighter. You know what? Amber Glenn's a fighter. And so from 2022 to now 2026, that has been the most successful 4 seasons of her entire life. It was so many great events. 2022 Skate America, I remember this. She won the bronze medal there. Um, and then yeah, she won the bronze medal there. NHK Trophy was really disappointing, unfortunately, because of 11th place at NHK Trophy that year. But but she goes to the 2023 US National Championship. She's here, to redeem herself after last year and COVID and everything. And she ends up winning the bronze medal there. She goes to four continents and is seventh. And she goes to Worlds for the very first time, and she places 12th place. And you know what? Was not a terrible season at all. In fact, it was probably the first full season where they gave Amber so many international assignments, and she had done pretty well. A bronze medal at a Grand Prix is nothing to laugh at. A top 12 finish at Worlds is nothing to laugh at. And so there's like, hey, maybe there is kind of hope for Amber. I don't know. And she had been trying to land a triple axel all season. Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, it was just not in the fate. But what was in the fate was, I believe, the biggest turning point in her career, maybe the 2023-2024 season. And this is a season where she went to Skate America. It was in Texas, and she was second in the short program. In the free skate, she landed the triple axel. Woo! For the first time. I remember that moment so well. It was so electric. I mean, she had done the triple axel, or she had tried to do triple axel so many times, and was under rotated, or she would step out of it, and all of a sudden triple axel, triple axel, triple axel, and I'm like, dang, she did it. Yes, she did place fifth overall, unfortunately, after a very like not very good second half of that free skate. But that was okay. And then she goes to Finland that year. She gets a bronze in Finland after a really big comeback in a free skate. 11th to 3rd is crazy. She goes to US Nationals, and this is where Isabeau Levito, I feel like, comes into Amber's story. But basically, Isabeau Levito and Amber Glenn, they were the two skaters that were fighting it out for the US National title in 2024. Amber wins, but it was a really unfortunate competition for basically everyone. And so it was kind of a thought that like Amber had won because Isabeau had made a lot of mistakes, and it was really unfortunate. That we'll talk about this later. But she did win the US National title, and she was the best skater of the night. So she still deserved the national title. I don't care what anyone says about that night, but really good. She goes to Montreal for Worlds that year, and she places 10th overall. I mean, which was kind of a disappointing performance, unfortunately. Really thought she was going to make it on a title, on a podium. All right, her best season, however, was the 2024-2025 season, and that's the season where she won every fall competition that she entered. She was landing triple axels left and right. She was landing triple axels in the short. She was landing triple axels in the free. She won Skate America. She won Cup of China. She goes to Grand Prix final, and she won Grand Prix final, being the only U.S. woman there out of a field of five other Japanese skaters. She won Grand Prix final, and they did that super famous moment where they copied her ending pose. She goes to US Nationals. She also wins the national title at US Nationals, very closely actually next to Alysa Liu, which again we'll discuss later. And so she goes to World. I'm telling you, she goes into 2025 World Boston, having been undefeated the whole season. And so the thought is, surely she's gonna win. She's been undefeated and so consistent the entire season. Unfortunately not. Boston was not in the fates. I really thought Amber Glenn was going to be world champ. Unfortunately not in the fates that year. She was fifth place overall in Boston, which is her best result at a Worlds. But her fifth place result, unfortunate for her. And yeah, and yes, yes, yes. And the world's team, yes, 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 yes. Okay, okay, okay. She goes to world team trophy. She does really well at world team trophy. She wins the free skate world team trophy with like a one. Was it a 148 or something? Yeah, yeah. It was a 148.93, which is humongous. She got 80 points in the technical score alone. And then this 2025-2026 season, her maybe last season, has been really, really well. She won again at Cup of China. She got second at Finlandia Trophy. And then she was fourth place at Grand Prix Final, went to US Nationals, and again won US Nationals for the third time in a row. Very good. And with that national title, she was named to her very first Olympic team. So let's recap, right? In 2018, she tried to make the Olympics. Unfortunate for her there. In 2022, she wanted to make the Olympics, COVID. 2026, though, she did make the Olympics, and so proud of her. Um, yeah, and so she helped Team USA win the gold medal in the team event. Um, and then let's see. The team event, and then oh, what else? And then she goes to the individual event, and not the best short program, right? Not the best short program. 13th place in the short program, third place in the free skate, fifth place overall. So proud of Amber Glenn for fighting through that free skate in the individual event. Did I think she was gonna make it on the podium? Yes. Was I kind of sad? Yes, but guys, it's fine. It is so fine. But she's been so good. She's been so strong, and she's been amazing, right? She has been so dang amazing. Yeah, and then she goes to Worlds last month and she got 9. Or no, she got 6 actually. Sorry, guys. But I don't know, just the story Amory Glenn, a late bloomer. That's kind of the story of Amory Glenn, is kind of the late bloomer in her career. Lots of pressure from an early age, lots of pressure from winning the junior national title that really carried into her. But I truly do think that a lot of that pressure, I don't know, ever since the beginning of this Olympic cycle, beginning of 2022-2023 season, it really has felt that Amber Glenn found freedom in her skating, more freedom, especially in these last 2 seasons. I feel like has found a lot more freedom in her skating, and really just owned who she is and who she gets at. And I feel like before maybe like the skates were really good, but I feel like emotionally I always connected to the skates more after the 2022-2023 season. And so she really like built this style of strength and elegance and strength. A lot of strength in her skating, how fast her skating is, how she really powers towards her jumps. And how she really does promote to kind of this almost aesthetic, almost like an ambiance, an aesthetic to her programs of, this kind of fun short program and this kind of somberish, sad free skate, and how it always connects to, I feel like, her inner emotions maybe, and I feel like she's really great at portraying those emotions. And that's kind of her artistic style, right? In terms of her skating style, like brute force, so strong, so brave, really does go for the jumps, really, really really does go for the jumps, really just snaps into the air with her triple flip, triple toe, for example. Really great program. Not program, really great element of hers. And so I think the story of Amber Glenn is quite inspiring to me because it kind of shows you, like, yeah, there's so much pressure from a young age. If you keep on going and you discover why you love something, you keep true to that and you stay with why you love figure skating and what you do, you will succeed in the end and you'll find your own personal satisfaction. She wasn't always talking about winning gold medals and gold medals and gold medals, right? I feel like Amber Glenn has done so many interviews where she's said she's doing it for herself, that she said she wants to take care of her mental health, that she's here to represent her community. She's here to, show who she is on the ice and not necessarily always winning medals because of that, right? She's very honest in her interviews. And I feel like she is quite honest in her skating as well. Not afraid to show some emotion, not afraid to show the audience what she's feeling in all of her performances, I feel like. And I really enjoy her skating. Now, as to what the future holds, Amber Glenn, she is 26. A lot of people have predicted that she is going to announce her retirement soon. If she does announce her retirement soon, I will definitely cry, right? I will definitely be really sad. But I don't actually know. She has said that she wants to do one more season perhaps, and so maybe that's the case. But in any case, I'm so proud of Amber Lynn's career and all that she's gone through. And she had such a quite long career if you stretch back all the way to 2014 with that first junior national title. 12 years later, she's still on the skating circuit. She's still skating. She's still doing what she loves. I think it's really inspirational. But let's head over to probably the youngest of these three ladies, the youngest of the Blade Angels, and who I have the smallest story for, and that is Miss Isabeau Levito. Isabeau Levito, we know her, we love her. I mean, Isabeau is such a quintessential. I feel like Isabeau puts the skating in skating. She remembers what skating is. She puts the skating in skating. All right. Now, I first remember Isabeau Levito because I really got into figure skating and following it religiously in the 2021-2022 season. And before the actual Grand Prix, of course, the senior Grand Prix, there was the junior Grand Prix. And Isabeau Levito was the talk of the town on the junior Grand Prix that season because she won a medal at the French one, and then it says on Wikipedia the Austrian one as well. And she had qualified to Grand Prix final, junior Grand Prix final, but COVID canceled that. Ha ha ha. I'm kidding. Yeah, it did cancel that junior Grand Prix final that year. But I remember it's about like Amber Glenn actually being kind of talked about as like, this is the future of figure skating right here. This 14-year-old girl, she's the future of figure skating. And I mean, it did quite look like it, right? Her jumps were super strong. Her performance skills super super strong, right? It was really it was really impressive how beautiful her programs were. She goes to US nationals on the senior level that year, and I will remember this forever. Her short program at senior nationals that year was The Swan. The title of that video that they posted on NBC was Isabeau Levito Slays Audience, and it was super funny. But truly, the Swan program, I truly do think that is the most representative program of the rest of her career. It's The Swan by Camille Saint-Saëns. I think it's performed by Joshua Bell. Um, it is ballet in skating. It is the best example of how ballet is transferred over to figure skating. I mean, if you want a program that just amazes you, that reminds you of visiting a ballet, going to a theater and watching ballet, that's the performance you need to watch. It's Isabeau Levito's The Swan, 2022 US Nationals. She was not eligible for the Olympics. She wasn't fighting for anything for an Olympic spot or anything. She was really fighting for reputation. She was fourth in the short program there, second in the free skate, a very gutsy free skate to Swan Lake, actually. Very gutsy free skate. Again, very elegant, very balletic. She was a little gutsy on the jumps. And the initial criticism about Isabeau was like, these jumps are not it. And that criticism does continue today, unfortunately. She has said publicly that she is not bothered by her jumps. And if she's happy with the way she jumps, I'm fine with that. But under rotations were the main issue from the start of Isabeau Levito's career, just from a judging standpoint. Yeah, but she ends up winning the bronze medal at her first US Nationals, which is a pretty dang big deal. And so, although she's not going to the Olympics, she is going to be eligible for senior nationals and senior everything the season after. And so, she is very much considered the future of figure skating. Okay, people? All right. Now, Isabel Levito is the future of figure skating, and so she goes to World Juniors that year. She does win Junior Worlds. Controversial result, very controversial result. This was very controversial at the time because the second place finisher was Jia Shin of South Korea. looking back, I truly do think Gia Shin should have won. I don't know. The under rotations in Isabeau's programs, I think they should have been marked a little more strictly, and that definitely would have put Gia Shin above her. But I also see the point that Isabeau was a better skater in a sense. She was a better performer, I feel like, that season, that competition. So who knows? But she did win the World Junior Championship, that World Junior Figure Skating Championships that year. And yeah, she ended off her junior career after one season very, very, very well. Now, these next 4 years for Isabel Levito, I mean, let's see, right? Let's see. She is now going to be a senior. She's going to be a senior. She's going to be a senior, and senior field is quite hard at 15 years old. She ends up what? At 15 years old, she wins the second place at Skate America. She goes over to the UK and she wins second there as well. Wait, what was her program this season again? I can't remember what she was skating to. Oh, she was skating to the Romanian. Dulcia Flandra, yes. But yeah, she qualified to the Grand Prix final at age 15 in her first season as a senior, and she won second at the Grand Prix final. She goes to U.S. Nationals. She wins gold at U.S. Nationals, and she goes to Fort Continents. She does withdraw from Fort Continents, unfortunately. She goes to Worlds. She is one of the favorites for Worlds. She's, again, I think at this point, yeah, she's 16 at this point. But still, very impressive that she's made it this far. Like, oh my gosh, she's just had the season of her life. One of the favorites for Worlds because of that second place at the Grand Prix final. 2023 World Championships, she just placed fourth place. And I think she was really, really, really sad about the result. I remember seeing something about her crying, and people like, no, oh my God, Isabel, you're only 16. It was your first season. Don't worry, don't worry. But yeah, I think the first season of Isabeau's senior career, a lot of people, again, I feel like a lot of people criticize her for no reason. I like Isabeau. I actually like Isabeau's skating and everything. I think it was that like the common thing about like juniors who make it to seniors, like, oh, junior skating, not good jumps, la 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 la. But Isabeau was a good performer. You could see it. She has a natural intrinsic performance quality in her. We head into the 2023-2024 season. In my opinion, the best programs that she has had. I don't know. She's had really good programs. She has really good programs. Anywho, she goes to Skate America. She wins silver at Skate America. She goes to France. She wins gold at France. Very, very good for her. Goes to the Grand Prix final, is fifth at the Grand Prix final, which was a really unfortunate result. She had a very unfortunate short program there, I think making mistakes on all of her jumping passes or something, and that was not the best result for her. She ends up going to US Nationals. She wins a short at US Nationals, but she had a very sus layback spin at the end. The Bielman was a little oopsies at the end, and yeah. And this is the saddest. This was so bad. This was so bad. I was rooting for Amber that year because I loved Amber and I didn't have a strong love for Isabeau yet, but I loved Isabeau after this. She goes to 2024 US Nationals. She won the short program. The free skate, she did fall 3 times on 3 different jumps, unfortunately. And it was an upsetting skate to watch. You never want to see someone fall 3 times in a program. Oh my gosh, it was such a devastating skate for me to watch, so devastating for so many people to watch. And she ends up third overall at US Nationals in 2024. And it was an upsetting result. But you know what I love about Isabeau? I just feel like Isabeau Levito is a fighter. Um, After that disappointment at US Nationals, after those 3 falls at US Nationals, you know what she did? She went to Worlds and she won silver at Worlds, which was the first US women's medal since Ashley Wagner 2016 silver. Getting silver here with Isabeau Levito was, obviously something that we really, really wanted. And it really did put a lot of hope back into people like, oh my gosh, maybe Isabeau does have a chance at an Olympic medal, maybe Isabeau does have a chance at an Olympic something something, right? I truly believe it. I truly believe that Isabel is a fighter. This moment in her career, I feel like was influential because after U.S. Nationals and that disappointment, I feel like she never wanted to disappoint again. She was like, no, 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 we're not doing this. So she ends up going to the 2024-2025 season, has a Swan Lake short program that was just like, okay. And then she goes to Moon River as a short program, which is the best choice. The best choice. It was so good. So good. She goes to Skate America. She was third at Skate America, and she withdraws from the Atlantic Trophy. And people are like, oh my gosh, maybe she's sick. And then she withdraws from US Nationals. Oh my god, is it serious? Turns out that she was injured. However, she does go to compete at the Road to 26 trophy, and she does do a really they she does have a really great result there, and so they let her go to the world team. And so I don't know. I think a lot of like questions are here. Whenever someone returns from injury, obviously, I feel like it's always like, oh my gosh, are they gonna be able to do it? And so we were all rooting for her though. We were all rooting for Isabel Levito. And at Boston Worlds, she was third at Worlds and then fourth place overall. She did fall on the triple foot triple tail. I remember that very distinctly. But her two programs this season, the Moon River Show program, cute, fun, romantic, very pleasing, and her free skate was Liebestraum, which was elegant, balletic, all the qualities that you wanted in Isabeau. I feel like those are her. I don't know if those are her best programs. I would say they were. I don't know. Um, but, again, a fighter. You know what? I just think that Isabel Levito is the fighter. Of like, she's my favorite fighter because again, after all that injury, still placing fourth at Worlds is amazing. Anywho, she enters the Olympic season with a lot of pressure on her back because her grandma is from Milan, her mom is from Milan, and all this media attention that she keeps on getting just based because of this that her family is from Milan. Like we get it, NBC, we really do get it. Anyway, she goes to Grand Prix de France. She places fourth there. Still really good. She goes to Skate Canada. She places second there. Does not make the Grand Prix final, unfortunately. But she does go to US Nationals. She does win bronze at US Nationals. A lot of people thought that they kind of lowballed her scores at US Nationals because she wasn't a guarantee for the Olympic team or something. But I would have thought that she was. I actually would have thought she was. She goes to the Olympics for the individual event. She was eighth in the show program. Free skate was really difficult, unfortunately. The free skate was pretty difficult for Isabeau. She places 12th in the free skate, or 12th overall in the Olympics, at the Olympics, sorry. But just a really two good, beautiful programs. So her first Olympics, 12th is a really great result. And then she just went to Prague. She was fourth at Prague. Um, Very good in at Worlds. But these two programs as well, the short program to Zubi Zubi Zoo by Sophia Loren is fun, fabulous, so sassy, so fun. And then her free skate to stay from Cinema Paradiso performed by Jackie Ivancho. Oh my god, this program, so balletic, so fun. And so Isabel has really built up, I feel like, this reputation of being the balletic skater, the definition of beauty, grace, elegance, etc. I think she does live up to that so well. And she has a quality of just making you just like, wow, wow. Just like laying back and you don't forget what you see because it's so beautiful. I mean her quality, I feel like, of her blade edges and her speed throughout the ice and her flexibility is so enthralling. Oh my gosh. Um I don't know. Her trajectory is one of kind of like very high success in juniors, very high success in seniors. A couple moments here and there where it was really difficult, but she picked herself back up, and that's what we love about Isabel Vito because she just really fights for everything. She fought, she fights, she really does fight. Um, for everything. She fights for everything, right? And she fights to get back from, unfortunate results. She fights to get back from injury. And that's just something that you just love about Isabel Levito. What the future holds for Isabel Levito, am very much assuming that she is skating for the next 4 years. I think she's confirmed this. I'm not sure. She is only 19 years old, I believe. So she hasn't said anything that would like hint towards a retirement or anything. Maybe she takes this season off or something to go to school, to live a more normal life. I don't know, but I am relatively sure that she has said somewhere that she's going to compete at 2030 or she wants to compete in 2030. Um, or I've completely missed something that she actually isn't or something. But yeah, she is very much. Um, she has actually been the leader of the US women over these last 4 years, the most prominent skater, I feel like, in terms of results and consistency overall. And she's really carried the US women's back for a bit. Those first two 2022, 2023 seasons, I really do think that she was kind of like the MVP of Team USA. Um, But a great skater, beautiful skater, grace, elegance. I feel like a lot of people want to see her move away from these types of programs. I don't. I love them, and I think she's good at what she's good at. And if she wants to do that, I fully support that. Honestly, like I just love I just feel like choreography in her programs it just goes so well. Like she's just the extension just wow. Wow. I mean, Isabel Levito is really that wowing skater, right? Wowing skater. And so we'll see what the future holds for Isabeau. Love Isabeau. Love her. All right, let's talk about Alyssa Liu. Now, I am going to go through this one kind of fast because I actually have a whole episode about Alyssa Liu. But, Alyssa Liu from her junior days, like teenage mutant ninja turtle kind of style, right? It was crazy. She won the 2019 US Senior Nationals at the age of 13, or I believe, or 14. She goes to the 2020 US Nationals for seniors. She wins there as well. And she was, again, this is a common theme, I guess. When you win something big in your junior age, in your young age, you're like, you are the future of US women's skating. And at that time, she was very much being placed against the Russians, Kamila Valieva, Alexandra Trusova. She was being placed against them. Very much being like, this is our solution. The US is going to win everything in her future, etc. Alyssa does face difficulties in the 2020 to 2021 season with injury and growth spurts, and she ends up losing some of her key elements, the quad lutz and the triple axel, which I know she was a junior. She had a quad lutz and a triple axel. Crazy. She does win a few good junior competitions in her early days, and she does medal at Worlds and at Grand Prix Final for juniors, but she goes to senior nationals in 2021. The title of the video was Alyssa Liu derailed or something like that. It was crazy. But she places fourth there and she doesn't make the world team, which is pretty shocking to say the least, considering her, the past two seasons. But the 2021-2022 season is truly when she was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And in her young career, only at the age of 16, I believe. Okay, only at the age of 16. She ends up, with I think fourth places at both of her fifth place and then fourth place at her Grand Prix. She gets a third spot for the US women at the Nebelhorn Trophy, couple attempts at the triple axel, etc. Goes to US National, third in the short program, then gets COVID, but then she still gets to go to the Olympics. And in Beijing 2022, she was seventh place overall. Yay, 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 yay. I mean, it was looking like a promising career, right? Looking like a very promising skater. First season senior, seventh at the Olympics. Great. Goes to the 2022 World Figure Skating Championships in Montpellier, which is a very big open field, and she places third. Yay! Oh shoot, I guess I kind of messed up my timeline of things. Isabeau was not the first woman to medal since Ashley Wagner. It was actually Alyssa in 2022. But Alyssa in 2022, at the age of 16, she won a bronze medal at Worlds. So happy for her, so great. And everyone thinks, right? Like, oh my gosh, she's the future. She's really gonna dominate this next quad. She announces her retirement. She was like, yeah, I'm done at the age of 16. I'm really done. I just, yeah, she's done. And it was kind of the thought like Alyssa never really wanted to skate anymore. She just was done. She thought it was good. Good enough. I went to the Olympics once. I won a world medal. That was it. She goes to school. She does lots of other things. And again, don't really hear about her for a while. And it's kind of like, okay, well, we have other things to focus on. We got Amber Glenn. We got not Alyssa, Isabeau Levito. We got Sarah Everhart. We have all these other skaters, Brady Tennell, to come back to focus on. And I just feel like a lot of the time I was like, oh, Alyssa, okay, yeah, Alyssa. And then she announces her comeback in 2024, and it's like, Alyssa's coming back to compete. She goes to the 2024-2025 season as a big enigma, as a big variable, in the sense that, like, okay, this comeback could either be like very good or maybe it's like, not as epic as we wanted it to be. But it was in the sense that Alyssa just wanted to skate for fun, skate for her love of skating. She places sixth at Skate Canada that year, fourth at NHK Trophy, goes to US Nationals, and she places second at US Nationals that year, which is pretty impressive. I think she would have won, but she did make a mistake on a spin at the very end of her free skate. Four continents, she was fourth place at four continents. And so, yeah, let's think about it, guys. Let's think about it. She was going into the 2025 Worlds as kind of like, oh, I mean, she probably could do pretty good, but not gonna make the podium, not gonna make anything. She wins the 2025 World Figure Skating Championships, which is unprecedented. I mean, literally a year ago, she had announced like I'm coming back, and a year later, she wins the 2025 World Figure Skating Championships. Like what? What happened? She wins, and it was seen as a very like miracle win. Oh my gosh. First world champion for the US since 2006, with Kimmy Meissner. I mean, totally unprecedented. Nobody would have expected this. So unprecedented, such an unprecedented result. She goes to World Team Trophy. She wins both parts of the World Team Trophy as well, which is super impressive. And so heading into the 2025-2026 season, it really was a question of like, okay, that last season just a fluke? Or was it a pattern maybe? Maybe Alyssa is actually a gold medal hope for the Olympics. Right. She goes to the Lombardia Trophy, which is a small competition, and she places uh fourth place actually there. And a lot of people thought like, oh, yikes. But she does go to Cup of China, wins silver there, gold at Skate America, goes to the Grand Prix final, and then does gold there. And so, a lot of those worries from earlier in the season that she wouldn't be able to replicate her success were kind of gone by now. Winning Grand Prix final was super serious, super impressive for her. Yeah, she did super great there. She goes to US Nationals. She does place second at US Nationals behind Amber Glenn in 2026. And she goes to the 26 Winter Olympics team event, helps win the gold medal for Team USA. And in the individual event, she was third place in the short program of the women's event, and then first place overall in the free skate for first place overall in total. And she wins the Olympic gold medal. First US woman in 2002 to win the Olympic gold medal, first in 2006 to win a medal at all. Super viral, super famous. Her gala went famous. Both of her programs went famous. Like number one this, number one that. So many big sponsorships, so many big this, that, shit, da la la la. But basically, Alysa Liu is the new superstar of figure skating, the new superstar of figure skating. What would I describe her style as? I would describe Alysa Liu's style as like liberating, very free, open. She looks like she enjoys her music. She very much skates with her heart out. You can tell that she is the one that's really there for her skating, that she is super duper just skating for the love of skating. Again, she has expressed, I think a lot of people have kind of pointed out her nonchalant personality, how she just really rejects just any like whatever. Like it's kind of whatever. Not that she doesn't care, but she's choosing to care about the things she actually wants to care about. Right. And it shows in her skating. She's not, loading these programs with like elements that look super duper difficult or anything. She's loading these programs with things that she cares about, choreography that she clearly does engage with, an emotion that she truly does engage with. And that's a special thing about her style. And, she has kind of a weird overall trajectory, right? From this junior superstar to kind of disappointments ish in the early senior years, and then really good success at the Olympics, and then retiring for 2 years and just like, okay, and then coming back and just having this slow start, but then huge uproar of success is such an interesting trajectory that I can't name anywhere else in figure skating. So, what truly does the future hold for Alyssa Liu? Not sure. It really could go anywhere. She has confirmed that she's not retiring though. So we'll see, right? Maybe she is going to try to compete in 2030. Maybe she's going to go back to school to finish her degree for a while. I feel like the season after the Olympics can be such a random season. And so whatever she does choose though, it's like with assurance that she's choosing it for herself, not choosing it for anybody else. Because she's just that kind of person, and she's become everyone's like personal role model, personal superstar, whatnot in these past few months, I feel like. So truly, what does the future of American women's figure skating look like? We have the Blade Angels, but we also have so many big upcoming superstars. Sophie Jolene Von Felton is an example. Sherry Jang has been a great example. We'll see if, maybe Josephine Lee has a really big resurgence in her skating. Sarah Everhart has been a huge, huge, huge figure in U.S. women's skating who was, an alternate to the Olympics, an alternate to the Worlds, etc. Brady Tennell, is she going to continue her career? Maybe we'll have to see there as well. So many big names. I feel like that the future of U.S. women's figure skating looks bright. And I feel like this is way different from the general fan perspective of many moons and seasons ago, like before the 2022 Olympics. That was like, no, like the US women are the weakest discipline. Like, oh my gosh, we're never going to win a team medal because the US women are a super strong discipline. And now the Blade Angels and all of these big upcoming names have truly made the women's field super, I mean, super duper strong in the US. Um, went from, not so many medals to bringing home Olympic gold with Alysa Liu, which was the only gold in the individual events actually for Team USA in the figure skating events. They helped bring home the team event gold. They have won world medals. Isabeau has won a world medal. Alysa Liu has won a world medal. Grand Prix final medals. All of them have won Grand Prix final medals as well. Grand Prix medals, for continent medals. Like all of these really big, important accolades have been won by this generation of US women's skating. And I truly do think that the future of American women's figure skating looks very promising, very good, very, very like, yeah, we can do it, people. We can do it. And so, again, super inspired by these skaters, super inspired by the Blade Angels, who they are, what they stand for. I mean, Amber, Isabeau, Alyssa, just super inspiring. They are who they are. They're unique in their own way, but their camaraderie as a team, I feel like, has really infiltrated the hearts of America. And they've really been able to kind of portray themselves as this ultimate superstar team of women who support each other, who love each other, who compete against each other, obviously, but they are there for each other every step of the way. And this new era of encouraging healthy competition in figure skating is much needed, I feel like. And combined with all of these other skaters that are coming up and helping create this positive culture, I think the future is pretty good for American women's figure skating. But that's just my personal expert opinion. But yeah, super interesting stories, super unique styles, super interesting trajectories, and the future is bright for all of them no matter what step they take. And yeah, that is pretty much the end of this week's episode. My name is Van Gogh. I hope you enjoyed me talking about the Blade Angels, Amber Glenn, Isabeau Levito, and Alyssa Liu. Next week, I kind of want to talk about the new rules in the ISU that they are proposing that a lot of people have had some hot takes on. But who knows? Maybe I'll upload something else, whatever I want, really. But we'll definitely see. We will definitely see. But thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Teen Talk Scene podcast. My name is Mango. I hope you enjoyed my rant on those three: Amber Glenn, Isabel Levito, Alyssa Liu. And I will hear from you guys next week as we talk about maybe the new ISU rule proposals. Bye bye.